Alright, so let's talk about Future War 1980X. Or 198X, whatever you want to call it. Um, so this is a Japanese movie from Toei. Directed by Tomoharu Katsumata and Toshio Masuda. And it's based on, or says it's partially inspired by a 1982 speculative war novel from the same year, 1982. It's called The Third World War, The Untold Story by Sir John Hackett. Yeah. So anyway, um, going into this movie, reading the title, I was expecting like some, big, you know, big campy, sci-fi space opera or something, but, no, it's not quite that, upbeat. Yeah, actually, this movie is about basically, essentially, it is about World War III. Yeah, speculative World War III. And the escalation of rising conflicts. We have let's see hold on a second. I'm not going to bother going through everyone's names because I can't even. But yeah, so the main character is a Japanese astronaut, scientist, something named or Wataru. Yeah, I got the cast list here, so yeah. And yeah, he's working with this. Yeah, he's working with an American named Burt Gaines. And this American is a scientist, inventor guy who managed to create this really powerful laser gun. Basically, a gun that can, like, render nukes, obsolete and all that. And, yeah, this kind of sets off a bit of an arms race, and then, yeah, these spies working for Russia kidnap Bert, and yeah, they take him onto a submarine, but he's because they want the secrets to the invention, but he won't tell them. And yeah, essentially the president of the United States orders to blow up the submarine. Well, he gets talked into it by like the Secretary of State, Defense, whatever it is, and they basically say that they're willing to sacrifice the scientist. And, they do show that the scientist is willing to kill him. Or, I shouldn't say kill. I'm sorry. This is modern YouTube. What's it called? I can't even remember what the stupid replacement word is. Unalive. He's willing to unalive himself just to, keep anyone from gaining his secrets to the weapon and all that. Anyway, things kind of balloon from there, and soon, the whole world is at war, and there's nukes being set off everywhere, and, along the way, there's this, romance between the main character and the inventor's sister, Laura. Let's see. And, even though there's, like, a big world war, they do show, like, a lot of, nuance and, shades of gray to, pretty much all the world leaders, like, the president, of the U.S., and then the president of the Soviet Union, and so yeah, even the Soviet president is okay. However, there is one guy who is definitely not a good person, and that's the Russian, what's his name, or Soviet Minister of Defense Bugarin. And yeah, he's the one who's primarily responsible for, like, all the escalation in this movie. Like, yeah, I mean, some of it is, like, tough decisions by, like, the presidents of these countries and stuff, but yeah, Bugarin is definitely, it's definitely a pride. He wants Russia to take over the world and all that good stuff. Or, Soviet Union, because that was still around in the 80s. I mean, I guess this was the height of the Red Scare, so. But yeah, essentially, half the world gets blown up. Millions of people die. Yeah, all that fun stuff. And, somewhere about 3/4 of the way into the movie, things get pretty dark and bleak. And, yeah, honestly, during that time, it actually makes, what was that other movie I just reviewed? Plague Dogs. It makes Plague Dogs look happy. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away about what develops. Yeah, I'll just, well, it's up to you if you want to see this or not. There were aspects of this movie that, I legitimately liked, and then there's other aspects that I'm like, eh. Let's see. I mean, the animation was overall pretty solid. They're definitely not going for cartoony in this one. They give all the characters these down-to-earth, designs. It's a Japanese anime, but it's not one of those anime where, you'll see some dude with big, wild hair or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, the main character is about as, wild looking as you're gonna get in this movie. But yeah, even he looks perfectly normal. I mean, yeah, he is Japanese, so. But, anyway, I mean, honestly, the character designs are a little too earthly in a way, because, like, there's, like, several characters in this movie that look practically the same. Like, there's, like, two of the secretaries or whatever they are of America, and they both look almost identical, and in fact, the main bad guy, Bugarin, he looks practically the same as them. And then the president of Russia looks so similar to the vice president of Russia, and, let's see. Yeah, there's, like, several characters in this movie that practically look the same, and, there's times where you can barely even remember who everyone's supposed to be. And, Yeah. And I also want to bring up there's like a brief confusing scene because they're showing the relationship between Wataru and Laura. And she's this long-haired blonde with a ponytail. Um, but there's like a scene partway into the movie at like this New Year's Eve party. Um, and I'm like momentarily confused because apparently she cut her hair and dyed it brown. And like for a moment I'm like, is Wataru dating another woman? Is he having an affair or something? Or well, he's not married to Laura, but yeah, is he cheating on her? Yeah, briefly confuses you until yeah, no, it makes it pretty clear that it's still Laura. She just cut her hair and dyed it, but still, yeah. Um, I don't know why they made that decision. They could have. Yeah, I don't know what the logic was, but um, I mean, otherwise, characters generally look the same, which for better or worse, since again they all have such non-distinguishable designs. Um, and for a Japanese anime, they do kind of go for a bit of a westernized style because to a degree the way the characters are animated, designed, all that stuff, it kind of reminds you of like some of the other 80s cartoons like G.I. Joe or Transformers, the human characters, of course. Um, so yeah, they're clearly channeling Western, animation in this. Um, Give it more of a gritty, earthly feel. Yeah. And I like the animation. I just didn't love, how all the characters just kind of blur together after a while. Um, yeah, I think they could have done more to, like, set the characters apart, even if they did want to make them, look, at least semi-realistic. Let's see. Trying to remember what else. One thing is, the movie is good at getting across like the premise of war, like how quickly things can escalate from like one little, incident. Because, again, this all starts with the kidnapping of a scientist. Um, so, yeah, the fact that it leads to half the world getting nuked. And, yeah, everything getting super bleak and sad and almost hopeless looking. Um, it's pretty good at portraying that. From some of the reviews, I'm not going to claim that I'm an expert with how this would realistically play out. Because, yeah, a lot of the reviews criticize the movie for, like, I'm reading some of the reception. The yeah, well, one criticism says mostly talking, lacking much footage of the effects, and to a degree, they're kind of right. And yeah, it's. I think I remember reading somewhere that there's aspects of the movie that just aren't like, or somebody greatly criticized the anti-war theming as tacked on and unconvincing. Yeah, you take it all with a grain of salt, but yeah, I don't know how really realistic this is. I just think at the very least, they're good at getting across that, one little incident, leads to, one kidnapping leads to, like, a massive nuclear war. So, yeah. But, yeah, about other, criticisms of the film, mostly talking, hold on, drawn out. I don't know about ugly, but yeah, it's very slow and, yeah, and, I've also heard criticisms that this could have just been a live action film, which I guess might have, or it probably could have. I mean, I think the fact that they were able to animate something like this, I don't know, I can't quite explain it, but obviously, as an animation fan myself, I obviously wouldn't have likely even bothered looking at a movie like this if it was live action, unless maybe I got like some major recommendations or I heard it was like this critical, success. There's a lot of movies on my bucket list, so I only have time for so much. I mean, someone says this is a big, tedious sludge of a picture, and yeah, to a degree, they're right. It is very slow. I guess it didn't really need to be animated, but yeah, the big issue is there's a lot of talking and drama, and it does slow down the pace of the film. I mean, it's good at overall getting the emotions across. And you can say what you will about like the main romance or whatever, but at least I don't know, they get some aspects of these characters across. I don't know, I have very mixed feelings about certain aspects of this movie. So yeah, because yeah, they could have told the story better. They could have made it quicker. Let's see. I mean, it's a lot of complex feelings. Honestly, it's kind of similar to how I feel about that new Odyssey movie that came out. Like, there's aspects of that movie that I really like, and then other aspects that I didn't really care for. Yeah, it's. But I'm just trying to cover as much as I can here. Because obviously I haven't even gotten to the big controversy surrounding the movie yet, but I just want to cover like the main themes. Well, anyway, the movie is like very slow, very methodical in its approach. Um, and so I do want to bring up, I actually kind of watched this movie twice. They were both different versions. Because I looked everywhere for a version that I could watch online, and the first one I found was actually the English dub. And it actually does trim quite a bit of the movie down, which actually, in my opinion, kind of helps. Because, yeah, when I watched the original Japanese dub later with, subtitles, some rather hackneyed English subtitles, I realized that even with all the stuff they trimmed out of the English version, they, I didn't really miss anything from the original dub, because, well, I mean, they get a few things across in the original Japanese dub that they didn't in the English dub, but yeah, otherwise, you get the gist of the story in the English dub, even with the bits they cut down. Um, Otherwise, the only scene in the entire original Japanese movie that I can remember that wasn't in the English version was this scene where we see the girl Laura playing piano at this concert or something, and apparently she's really good. She jams on that piano, but yeah, that's all we really missed. And I mean, I guess they didn't touch on the American version that she's a piano player or anything, but I mean, yeah, they leave out a few character aspects in the English dub. But to be fair, these aren't like super interesting characters or anything, so I don't think it's like a huge loss. Also, an interesting choice they made for the English dub. So Wataru is his name is actually changed to Robert Manning. So he's actually an American in the English dub, but that's like very unconvincing because you look at him and you're like, he looks Japanese. Because all the other characters, yeah, all the other, Americans in this movie, you can look at them and tell, okay, yeah, obviously that person's an American. But yeah, you look at Robert Manning, and he looks like this Japanese guy. Well, anything else? Oh, well, one major thing about the English dub. So the original Japanese version, it's pretty traditional and it's, it has a full cast and everything. The English dub, it's actually all told through a voiceover from Robert Manning. Yeah. Yeah, it's all a voiceover narration from him, and yeah, I guess you could debate how effective it is. After a while, I kind of get tired of listening to him, Robert Manning, and but I don't know. I think it is also kind of an effective way to get this movie, kind of get you through the movie a little faster, because the original dub is like, yeah, it's like just over 2 hours. The American version, it's only an hour and a half, so they managed to cut like over half an hour off the movie. So, and usually I'm not for cutting stuff out of a movie for, overseas dubs and stuff, but in this case, it did make it a little more compelling to watch, and, got it over, or, it got you through the story faster. Otherwise, yeah, it is a bit of a slog to sit through. In fact, I couldn't even watch the Japanese version in one sitting. I kind of took a couple breaks, although to be fair, some of those breaks were unintentional because, I was interrupted by other things, including my family wanting to watch another movie. Like, basically I watched 2 movies while I was in the middle of watching this movie. Anyway, I guess that's enough of my personal anecdotes. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna watch this movie, I'd recommend the American dub as long as you're willing to put up with the voiceover narration. I think it'll get its point across just fine. Although, I don't know, I mean, you might be a purist who can only watch the original dub, and to be fair, they take some stuff out for the English dub. Yeah, it's pretty complicated. Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about the big subject with this movie, the controversy. So they wrote an early draft for the movie, um, and various animators and stuff. They read the script, and allegedly, at least, they saw it as being pro-war instead of anti-war, like the final product was. And yeah, the movie I watched definitely seemed to be advocating against war. But yeah, allegedly the original draft was, at least it came off to them as pro-war. And you know, the writers might, apparently they claimed otherwise, but you know, unless I see the original draft, I wouldn't know. There's a lot of little stuff written under this controversy section, and I guess some of it under release and reception. Yeah, it's it's a lot of stuff, and you know, I'm sure you can get a lot from. I mean, I could just recommend you look up the movie on Wikipedia, and you'll get a general idea what happened, or you know, what was going on. But yeah, let's just say the release, the creation of the movie was kind of a big war in and of itself. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think I need to go into too much detail, but yeah, there was a lot of controversy before the movie was even made, and yeah, there was like a big protest, and yeah. I mean, for a movie that most people alive today have probably never even heard of, it's got quite a it's got quite a history apparently. Um, and yeah, I mean it's yeah, I don't really have time to go into all the details, and you know, I'm already almost half an hour in to this little review here. To be fair, you know, this movie has quite a bit to talk about. Anyway, I guess my throat's getting a little dry, so I should probably try and wrap this up now. And yeah, as usual, if there's anything I feel I need to add, I'll put it in the comments. But yeah, overall, I respect what this movie overall was apparently trying to get across. I mean, it's very complicated feelings. There's, I think there's a lot that they communicated and, you know, conveyed quite well in this animation, and it does bump up my opinion a little bit, but yeah, it's not the most enjoyable, even by a, you know, tragic drama standpoint, you know. It can be a bit of a sit through. So yeah, I would, whether or not I would recommend this movie, just overall depends on how, on your interest in watching a movie like anything that I've been talking about, you know, a 2 hour movie about World War III and the, you know, consequences, and, yeah, me personally, I think I liked enough about it that I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. Again, this is definitely not one of my favorites, but again, there's aspects that it did that I appreciate. Yeah, there's stuff about this movie that I respect, but yeah, with all the turmoil behind its creation, and the very slow pacing, and aspects that didn't even necessarily need to be animated. It does compromise my opinion of the movie quite a bit. But again, I still liked enough about it to give it a 7. And yeah, if any of this stuff that I've been talking about doesn't drive you away, then chances are you'll at least appreciate it as much as I did, I guess. Well, I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, definitely take everything I've been talking about into consideration and decide for yourself if you want to see a movie like this. I mean, when it gets dark, it gets really dark. Just a fair warning there. And, there is some blood and violence here and there. And, but, on the other end, there is, more hopeful themes in there, so yeah, it's not as relentlessly, or let's just say the ending isn't quite as downbeat as Plague Dogs was. But anyway, yeah. Again, as usual, if there's anything I feel I need to add, I'll put it in the comments, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that for now. Mash it and smash it, signing off.